लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग चालू कर दो.
Please begin, sir.
Good morning to all of you.
Hello.
On behalf of Parul News, I'm Hetal Prajapati. Welcome all of you. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Vikram, sir.
Good morning. Good
Uh,
morning.
Today for the webinar on the topic design of structure and selection of main component of overhead transmission line, we have Vikram M. Karate, expert. He is from structure. He is a structure design engineer from Takalkar Power Engineering Consultant. He has worked as a project manager and completed the projects in Adani Power, 400 kV double circuit transmission line, MIDC, Telegaon. He has also completed the project in Larsen Turbo, 400 kV DC for NTPC. So I would like to welcome the Vikram Karate sir, and sir, please start your presentation or webinar. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. And good morning to all. How are you all? Oh. So today we will discuss about the transmission line support structures, which are the main important factors for transmission line distribution. Okay. So today we will discuss about that transmission tower, design of transmission tower. So basically, I have designed transmission tower ranging from 33 kV to 765 kV in their foundation also. Okay. So what are the factors and what are the important things that we should keep in our mind while we will design transmission tower? Because as you know, transmission tower is a very costly things that will affect very high to the cost of transmission tower and transmission line also. Okay. So today we will discuss about how to design and how to optimize the weight of transmission tower. Okay. So transmission lines are basically supported by transmission towers. Okay. So the reliability of a transmission line is mainly depends on transmission tower and their foundations. Okay. So we will discuss how to design it. So there are many factors which we should keep in our mind while we will design it. Okay. So I will share some uh, PPT and the basic assumptions of a transmission tower design. So what are the different assumptions we should keep in our mind while we will design tower? Okay. So the basic assumptions are all members of a bolted type tower framework are pin connected in such a manner that the members carry axial loads only. As we know, transmission tower is a steel structure. It is basically truss, nothing else. Okay. So for truss, our loads should be axial only. It will not carry bending moment and shear force. Whatever bending moment and shear force will come to the structure, it will convert into axial loads only. That will be compression and tension. Okay. So there are only two loads. First is compression and another is tension. Nothing else. No shear force, no bending moment, or no anything. Yes, there is some torsional forces are there, but the effect will convert into axial because this is a truss and transmission tower is a truss, and truss will give only two loads. One is compression and another is tension. Okay. The another assumption is the bolt slippage throughout the structures are such as to allow the use of the same modulus of elasticity for the entire structure, thus permitting the use of the principle of superimposition for stress analysis. Okay. The bolt connections are pin connected. Okay. No, for transmission tower, we should not use welded structure. We should not use any other type of connection, or connection should be bolted only. Okay. The another assumption is what about shear? So shear is distributed equally between the two members of a double wave system. As an example is a Warren system. I will show you what is Warren system and what is the another system also. So shear is carried by the diagonal member under tension in a plate system. I will explain what is a plate system and what is variance system and what are the another systems which we can use in design of transmission tower. Okay. So here another assumption is torsional shears applied at a cross-arm level for spare tower are registered by the four tower faces equally.
Vikram sir,
Yes, sir.
your screen is not present there.
Screen here.
Laptop. हाँ screen नहीं आ रही sir. So
1 minute, 1 minute.
एक मिनट.
આવે છે સર હવે? હેલો સર
No, sir. No, sir.
No.
આવે છે હવે?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
ઓકે ઓકે
Sir, switch
Sorry?
off your camera from mic, sir. Mobile.
ઓકે સર I will show you from
So-
first. Okay. So these all are the assumptions we should keep in our mind while we will design transmission tower. Okay. Okay. Can you see this screen? Hello.
Yes sir. Now it is okay.
Okay. So these all are the assumptions. Okay. This is about torsional shears resisted by all the four faces of transmission tower equally. Okay. Another assumption is plan members at levels other than those at which external loads are applied or where the leg slope changes are designated as redundant members. So as we know, there are different types of member. One member is a main member, another member is a secondary member, and third one is a redundant member. So what is a main member? Main member is like a leg member of transmission tower. Okay, it will carry compression and tension. Okay, what is a secondary member? Secondary member is a bracing member. Bracing member is like our crossing diagonal portal system. It will also carry compression and tension. And our another pattern is a redundant design. So redundant design, which it will not carry any loads. Redundant is generally used to break the length of a member to maintain our slenderness ratio in limit. So it will not carry any stasis, and it is also not designed to check whether it is safe in stasis or not. Redundant members are generally used to break the length and to maintain our slenderness ratio within the limit. Okay. Now another assumption is any face of the tower subjected to external loads lies in the same plane so far as the analysis of the particular face is concerned, except earthwire, cross-arm, and peak. So this is another assumptions, and transverse loads are shared by the members on the transverse faces of the tower equally. In design of transmission tower, there are two faces. One is the transverse face, and another is longitudinal face. And the direction of loadings will be transverse direction and longitudinal direction. So whatever loads will come in transverse direction, it will carry by transverse face only, and whatever load will come through the longitudinal direction, it will carry by longitudinal face. Okay. Another assumptions. Similarly, the longitudinal loads are shared equally by the two longitudinal faces. Okay. So there are three loads. One is transverse loads, another is vertical loads, and third one is longitudinal loads. These three loads we should keep in our mind while we will design transmission tower. What is a transverse load? What will be longitudinal loads, and what will be vertical load? These three loads will come on existing transmission line. Okay. So vertical loads placed symmetrically and dead weight of the structure are shared equally by the whole legs. So these all are the assumptions. Okay. Now I will show you how we can calculate tower loadings. Okay. So this is about tower loadings. So type of loads. First is a permanent loads related to dead weight. Self weight of transmission tower. This is about permanent loads. Okay. Another is a wind loads on wire. So as we know, when a line is reliable, when a line is existing, the most affecting loadings on transmission tower and conductor is a wind. Wind will affect most of the transmission tower line. Wind is the governing factors we should keep in our mind while we will design transmission tower. Okay. So third one is the wind loads on insulator set. As we know, between this two transmission tower or conductor is there. Okay. So whatever wind will come, it will perpendicularly affect perpendicularly affect conductor, insulator string, and the members of transmission towers. Okay. Another one is a wind loads on tower. So wind will impact on three. One is a conductor, another is a OPGW, and third one is a tower members. Five one is ice loads related to deposition of ice on conductor as well as tower, same as a wind. Okay. So now permanent loads. What are the permanent loads? First is self weight of tower. Second one is the weight of insulator set. Third one is the weight of conductor or earth wire resulting from exertion span. Okay. Fourth one is the weight of clamps and connectors. Fifth one is the weight of aircraft, warning spheres and similar elements. Sixth one is the weight of other fixed equipment. So these all are the permanent loads which will come onto the transmission tower. Okay. Now second is the wind loads on conductor. So terms used for wind load calculation are, as you know, wind is a very much affecting factors to design transmission tower. So it is a very much important to analyze wind as we can. Okay. So these are the technical terms we should know about wind to calculate how much wind load will come onto the tower. So first is the mean wind velocity, second is the terrain category, third is the mean wind pressure, fourth is the turbulence intensity and peak wind pressure, and the fifth one is the wind forces on conductor and earth wire. These all are the technical things we should know about wind. Okay. Now first is the mean wind velocity. Mean wind velocity depends on basic wind velocity is 10 minutes mean wind velocity irrespective of wind direction and time of year at 10 meters above ground level. Okay, as we know, for India there are different wind speed in a different area of India. So there are 6 wind zones. By considering this wind zone, we should come to know how much wind speed is there in that area. Okay, so there are 6 wind zones from 1 to 6, and for the different wind zones there are different wind speed for India. So wind directional factor for various wind direction recommended value is 10. These are the technical things. First I will show you formula. Yes, this is the formula. This is basic wind speed. It will depend on wind zone. For India there are 6 wind zone, and for different wind zone we should it is given in Indian standard also. For wind zone 1 the speed is around 33 meter per second. For wind zone 2 it will be around 39 meter per second. So this is a basic wind speed which is a standard empirical value it is given by Indian standard. Okay, this is a wind directional factor, CD direction is a wind directional factor and recommended value is 1. Okay. This is a C0. This is a orography factor, which may be neglected when the average slope of the topography is less than 5%, and for that recommended value is also 1. So for C directional recommended value is 1, and for orography factor recommended value is also 1. This is the terrain factor, Kr. Kr is a terrain factor. The formula for terrain factor is 0.189. This is the empirical formula given by Indian Standard. Okay, so these are the formulas to calculate mean wind velocity in meter per second. Okay, so this is a terrain category table. As you know, there are 3 types of terrain category as per Indian code: terrain category 1, terrain category 2, and terrain category 3. Okay, so this is about terrain category, different terrain categories, and for different terrain category, what is the value of Z0 and TR. Now this is the mean wind pressure. This is the important value we should know. How we can calculate mean wind pressure. So formula to calculate mean wind pressure is 1 by 2. This is the density. Edge density value is 1.225 kg per meter cube, and this is the mean wind velocity. Okay, so this is the formula. By using this formula, we can calculate mean wind pressure. Okay. So now another technical parameters are turbulence intensity. So to calculate turbulence intensity, we have one formula like this. So these all are based on formula. 1 minute or so. One minute or so. चार्जिंग नहीं बताओ अच्छा okay. Hello. Sorry sir for inconvenience. Now another technical terms are turbulence intensity and peak wind pressure. Okay, so these are the formulas. By using this formula, we can calculate turbulence intensity and peak wind pressure. Okay, so these are the empirical tables. By using this table, we can find the unknown values used in formula. Okay, so these are the tables. This is wind forces on conductors. Because when wind is blowing, the effect of wind comes on conductor perpendicularly. So these are the formulas. By using this formula, we can calculate how much wind will act to the conductor and how much it will affect the design of transmission tower. So these all about loadings. So there are 3 types of loadings. One is transverse load, second is vertical loads, and third one is longitudinal loads. So what will be transverse loads? So transverse loads, first load will be from wind. Wind will give tower body transverse direction loads. Another is a conductor loads. Whatever deviation it will be, as per that deviation due to mechanical tension of conductor, transverse load will come to the tower. Okay. Now another topics is Now this is a PLS tower software. By using that software, we can model a transmission tower. So I will show one tower right now. Design a transmission tower itself a very big subject, and it is not possible for anyone to complete all the technical things in just a short period of time, because it is itself a very big subject, and it will take its own time to complete. But I will show the things as many as possible that I can. Yes. Can you see this tower?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So you can see this tower. This is my latest tower that is I am designing right now. Okay, so this is a single circuit tower 220 kV, and this is a PLS tower software. By using this software, we can make this model and we can design this tower also. So these all are the main member. These all are the main member. Can you see? Can you? This is highlighted member. This is the main member. This is a leg member. Okay. This is a bracing member. Secondary member. This is a primary member, leg member. This is a secondary member, bracing. Okay. And this is a cross arm. This is a cross arm. So this is a leg member. This is a bracing. Okay. This is a belt, horizontal belt. This is a horizontal belt. This is a plan bracing of the belt. This is a cross arm. This is a lower member of cross arm. This is upper member of cross arm. And these all are the redundants. Okay. So your attachment point, earth wire will attach over here. Earth wire will attach over here. R face will attach over here. Y face will attach over here. And B face will attach over here. So this is the upper member. And the upper member, there will only tension. There will not be any kind of compression. So for upper member, my slenderness ratio will be around 400 or 350. Okay. So this is a lower member, and for lower member, my slenderness ratio will be around 120. Okay. If my slenderness ratio will increase above 120, or so it will not good design, as we can say, or it will fail in slenderness ratio also. So for a lower member, my slenderness ratio will be under control and it will be less than 120 only. For upper member, here only tension will governing. There will not be any kind of compression, so my slenderness ratio will increase up to 350 or 400. But for my lower member, it will be less than 120. Same like lower member, for main member, my slenderness ratio will be less than 120. Okay. And for bracing member, my slenderness ratio will be around 180. Okay. So this is a model of transmission tower. How we can build this tower. So here one option is there, geometry. There are another options, primary joints, secondary joints. So these all are the primary joints. See, joint level. This is one. Symmetry code XY, X coordinate. We should input our coordinates as per this triangle, three-dimensional positions. This is X, this is Y, and this is Z. Okay. So this is symmetry code. This is X coordinate. This is Y coordinate. This is Z coordinates, and these all are displacement. So these are the primary joints. When main points and when my slope of transmission tower will change, at that point I should keep point node as a primary node. See, I will show you. Okay. See, this is node. 23x, 23s, 23y, 23xy. This is 20. So these all are the nodes. So by using these primary joints and secondary joints, we can build our model. Okay. So after building this model, I will show you one example how we can input C. 1 minute. See, this is my back level is 11.30 meter. Okay, you can see 11.3 meter. So how we can plot these 23x nodes? Okay, if I want to build a model by using this 11.30, how we can plot this node? So here you can see my 23 nodes is a secondary nodes. This is my secondary nodes 23. I will show you for 1p. This is my 1p, 1x. My distance is 4.90 between 1p and 1x. My distance is 4.90. Okay, so how we can plot this 1p? This is my 1 xy geometry. If you want to make 4 nodes, you should use xy geometry. If you want to draw 2 nodes, you should use either x geometry or either y geometry. And if you want to make 1 node, you can use none. See here, none for 1 node. For 2 node, it will be x symmetry or it will be y symmetry, and for 4 nodes, it will be xy symmetry. Trisymmetry for transmission tower we should not use. So this is x coordinates. As you know, my distance between 1p and 1x is 4.90. Okay, so I should give coordinates from center. Okay, I should give coordinates from center. So for 4.90, my center point will be 2.45. Can you see this 2.45? Hello?
Yes, sir.
See this 2.45?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So for x coordinate, it will be 2.45. For y coordinates, it should also be 2.45. And my z coordinate is my height from here. You can see from here to here. This is 12 meter. So my z coordinate is 12 meter. Okay. So by using this table, we can plot our different nodes, whatever we want. Okay. So this is a primary joint and secondary joints. By using these nodes, we can build our model. Now, how we can give loads to this model? So this, here one option is the loads. This is vector loads, and these are the .lcf file we can use for this design. Okay. So these are the all different cases we should consider for transmission tower design. This is about reliability. This is security. So now, what is this reliability, security, and safety? So this is the 3 conditions given by Indian standard. For that, we should check our loadings. First is reliability, second is security, and third is safety. What is reliability? Reliability is what we can say, when a line is reliable, there will not be any kind of issue in a line. When a line will be reliable, whatever load will come to the line, for that load we should check transmission tower. So for reliability, our condition will be everyday temperature and full wind. We should check a transmission tower for full wind, because this is a reliable line. There will not be any kind of issue for line. Okay, so for that reliability condition, our maximum tension will be everyday temperature, full wind. Okay. Another is a security. Security is like a broken wire condition. When our line is reliable and due to some reason my conductor is broken, so there will be drastically load will come on transmission tower, because as your line is reliable from both the span, tension will come. But when my one conductor or earth wire is broken, there will be drastically load will come onto the tower. Okay, so for that impact we should check our tower. So this is a security condition. Here you can see there are different cases we should consider. First is a security, ground wire broken, here top conductor broken, here middle conductor broken, here bottom conductor. BC is for bottom conductor, MC is for middle conductor, and TC is for top conductor. So for security, we should check a tower for different attachment points. One is for ground wire, another is for top conductor, second is middle conductor, and third is a bottom conductor. So for all these conditions, we should check a tower. And another condition is a safety condition. When our commissioning of line will done, transmission tower should also cross check for safety conditions, like किसी तरह का रिपेयर करना है हमको ट्रांसमिशन टावर में, तो फिर उस पे टावर पे वो वर्कमैन, वो जो इंसान होगा वो टावर पे क्लाइम करेगा, तो उसकी वजह से कोई मेंबर फेल नहीं होना चाहिए. So these are the things we should check in safety conditions. And this is the anti-cascading condition. What is anti-cascading condition? As we know, there are different types of transmission tower. One is a suspension tower, another is a tension tower, another type is a transposition tower, and the fourth one is a special tower. So what is a suspension tower? Suspension towers are generally used for straight run. Okay, suspension towers are generally used for straight run. For suspension tower, my deviation angle will be 0 to 2 degree. Okay. Another is a tension tower. Tension tower, there are used for tension location. There are three types of tension tower. It will differ from its deviation angle. From 2 to 15 degree, it will be B type tower. From 15 to 30 degree, it will be C type tower. And from 30 to 60 degree, it is D type tower. And another tower is a transposition tower. So what is a transposition tower? When our length of line is around 100 kilometer and much more, we should introduce one transposition tower. So what is a transposition tower? So transposition towers are generally used to transpose the phase conductor by rotation. Like that, after rotation, each phase occupies each of three phase in this system. So to transpose the conductor, we can use transposition tower. We can use transposition tower when our length of line is more than 100 kilometer to transpose the phase conductors. Okay, for AC current generally. So these are the conditions. Reliability, security, safety, and anti-cascading. For this condition, we should apply load in transmission tower. Okay. Now this is a model. And now we apply also loads over here. Now I want stasis. So how I can analyze this tower? So this is a model and run this tower. Yes, you can see. This is analyzed tower. I'll show you in 3D. See. This is analyzed tower. And how much stasis is coming to these different layers, how I can see. So the model results, group summary, and this group summary. See, these are the different panel. These are the different panels: P1, P2, P3, P4, and P5. Okay, and these are the different sections which I assign: 75 by 6, 75 by 6. Okay, so this is steel strength 350. There are, for transmission tower we can use two types of steel. One is mild steel and another is a high tensile steel. For mild steel, my ultimate strength will be 250 megapascal, and for high tensile it will be 350 megapascal. So this is a high tensile member 75 by 6. What is T1? This is T1. See here. This is my T1. Here you can see below T1. Entity info, right click for view menu, group info, group T1. So this is my T1, this is my T2, this is my T3, okay, and this is my T4. So these are the different panels. For that we should know what section it is capable to carry the loads. Okay, so this is my analyzed tower and this is the results. So for T1 member, my section is 75 by 6, my steel strength is 350 megapascal, and this is the maximum usage. My maximum usage means 83%. For this section 75 by 6, 83% of this section are utilized by the loads. So this section has also 17% more strength to carry 17% loads. Are you understanding? So this is 75 by 6, and for this section usage is 83. That means for this section 83% sections are utilizing to carry these loads. This section has 17% more strength to carry more loads. Okay, so this is a usage, and this is a usage control. As we know, this is a truss analysis, and for truss analysis there are only two different loads. One is a compression and another is a tension. So this T1 member is critical for compression. This member is not critical for tension. Okay, so this is the maximum usage in compression percentage. Another column is 83. Okay, so here compression force. See, this is the compression force 121 kilonewton. This much compression force will come on this member, T1 member. Okay, so this is a compression member. This is a compression force, and this is a case for which case my compression is critical. This is a case. This is a L by R capacity. Now is you can see here 121 is a compression force and my capacity is 145. For 121 kilonewton force, my capacity is 145. So that means it is a safe in L by R capacity. Now this is a CR capacity, and for another one is a bearing capacity. It will depend on bolts. Okay, as you know, your bolts are most suitable to carry axial tension. Okay, your bolts will fail in CR and bearing. So whatever connection you have given to your member, if this connection is capable to carry this compression force or not. Here you can see for 121 kilonewton force, your CR capacity is 498. That means it is safe to carry whatever bolts you have given to your member. This bolts is capable to carry this compression force 121 kilonewton. Okay, now this is the bearing. Okay, this is a 282. So your bearing is also safe to carry this 121 kilonewton. Okay, these are different ratios to make it minimum and medium. Okay, this is a curve number. This is another technical parameters. Okay, but for is we know for 1 hour it is not possible to complete all these things. Okay, here number of bolts are given for compression. For T1 member, 75 by 6, I have given 4 number of bolts. Here you can see 4 number of. So for 4 number of bolts are capable to carry that loads. and my bolt grade will be 16 bolt 5.6 grade. Okay, this is compression analysis and this is the tension analysis. Same like compression, we can cross check for tension analysis. Now, how you come to know this member is safe for fail? Here you can see these are the uses, different uses. See, if your color is like this, that means your member is utilizing 25%, your member is utilizing. Okay, for green it is utilizing 50%, for yellow it is utilizing 75%, and for red that means it is failing to carry that force. Now see, for this member, if I change right now, yes, right now you can see in your analyzed model for P1, your section is 75 by 6. Okay, in usage is 83%. Okay, now if I will change this section from 75 by 6 to from 75 by 6 to 40 by 4. Now once again I will analyze this tower. Here you can see the red color comes. See what it means. What it means, this member is failing to carry that load. How much it will fail, we can cross check over here in result sheet, group summary. See, here red comes. See, that means this is a failing. This member is failing to carry these loads, 121 kilonewton loads. So here you can see, you can cross check for, here you can see L by R capacity. For compression force is 121 kilonewton, and for this section L by R capacity is 20 kilonewton. So that means your L by R capacity is not sufficient to carry 121 kilonewton loads. So what we can do? I think we should increase our section here from 45 by 4 to 65 by 5. I changed that section, and again I will analyze this tower. You can see what is the difference between previous and this one. Here also you can see color is red. That means this section is also not capable to carry 121 kilonewton force. Okay, here you can see. So, but how much it is utilizing, we can cross check. Here you can see compression force is 121 kilonewton and capacity is 78. So here you can see your capacity is much less compared to your compression force. So here you increase your section. Now I will directly now I will directly input 75 by 6, my previous sections, and you can see now there is no failure of member. My member is safe. And how much it is safe, I can cross check over here. 75 by 6 is capable to carry 121 kilonewton force. Okay, for 75 by 6 my capacity is 145 and my compression force is 121. Okay, now if I want to see bolt failure, here you can see I have given 4 bolts. If I will change from 4 to 1, now you can see failure in bolt. See, here you can see. Yes, my P1 member is a fail, but my failure will not be in L by R capacity. My section is sufficient to carry that load. Okay, but my connection is weaker to carry that loads. My section is okay. Whatever section I have given, 75 by 6, it is okay because for that section my L by R capacity is 145 kilonewton. But my connection is weaker to carry that loads. Here you can see for bearing my capacity is only 70. Only 70 my capacity is. So what I should do, I should increase my bolts. I have given from 1 to 2. Now here you can also cross check here. See here my shear is 249. My shear is 249 to carry compression load of yes 141. Okay. So here you can also see. See now it is safe. So my P1 member is safe for section and for bolt connections. Okay. And here you can see KL by R. KL by R is very much important technical parameters as civil engineer or civil engineer knows because slenderness ratio for compression it is very much important, and without slenderness ratio no compression analysis will take. For tension analysis there is no important of slenderness ratio but for compression analysis without slenderness ratio this is the most prime or most factors for compression analysis. Okay, so compression slenderness ratio is an important factor. As I discussed to you, for main member, my slenderness ratio should be less than 120. So here you can see different for different member. This is a P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. As I discussed, this is my P1, this is my P1, this is my P2, this is my P3, this is P4. Here highlighted member. This is a P5. This is a P6. So these are the different panels. For that panel, we should analyze a tower, and whatever load it will come, we should keep our section according to it. Okay. So for main member, my slenderness ratio should be less than 120. As you seen, see here. For main member, my slenderness ratio is less than 120. Here you can see. But for secondary member, these all are the secondary member. This is a bracing. For secondary member, my slenderness ratio should be less than 200. See, 126, 120, 131, 131, 120, like that. So these are the main technical things we should know while we design the tower. Okay. Now I will show another. This is general data. Okay. Now I will let you know some technical specs for this PLS tower. The full form of PLS tower is power line system tower. This is generally used to design transmission tower ranging from 33 kV to 765 kV. This is particularly used for transmission tower designing. Another is a PLS CAD. For PLS CAD, we can, by using that PLS CAD, we can draw our profile, different tower, whatever tower it will come to the profile, we can plot the tower by using PLS CAD. So this is here we can design our tower by using different codes also. Okay, we can analyze our tower by using linear method and non-linear method. Okay, so these are the analyze options: design check for single structure, basic allowable spans, create a model, one file for PLS scale. So these are the different analysis options, and these are design checks. We can design transmission tower by using PLS tower software for different codes. Here you can see member strength. As per these are the list for different codes. It is a worldwide used software. This is a AC10, that means American Standard Society of Engineers. This is American code. These all are the Euro code, EN50341, EN50341. These all are the Euro code, and this is our Indian standard codes. So there are a number of codes. Whatever code we want to use, we can use to design this transmission tower. These are design check options. This is a capacity. As you know, our steel member has a different capacity: compression capacity, tension capacity, shear capacity, and bearing capacity. So this is a we have mentioned one. That means if my material is my steel, its strength is 250 megapascals. So if I will put over one, that means software will design your member by using 250 itself only. If I will change from 1 to 0.95 volt, yes, that means this software will design your member for reduced capacity, 5% reduced capacity. Whatever steel member strength it will be, but my software will design member with help of reduced capacity, 5%. If you want to reduce this capacity as 10%, you should input over here as a 0.9. Okay, but generally we will input as a 1. This is a redundant member. As we discussed, redundant member is an important things we should know, because it will not carry, what we can say, it will carry nominal stress to about 2.5 percentage stress of connected member. It will carry very nominal stress. So for that stress, our member will not fail. But redundant member is has its own importance to break the length and to maintain our slenderness ratio of main member and secondary member within the range. See, now if you want to check your stability of the structure, how much it will deflect, you can do like this. See, this is stability of your structure. Can you see how much it will deflect? This is your analyzed model. As per your loadings, you have given your sections to these models, and after you have given your sections and you come to know my tower is safe, but how much it will stable, how much it will deflect, if you want to cross check that things. So once again I will show you from first. So this is my analyzed model. Okay, right click. Here you can see dance structures. This will give stability deflections of the existing tower or design tower. See. There are many technical things to design transmission tower, yet we has to discuss. Without that things, our design will not complete. This is only we can say 1% or less than 1% what we discussed, because we have very less time. Transmission tower itself, it is carrying two codes in a standard. One is IS 802 Part 1, Section 1. This code is generally used to analyze the tower. to calculate the loadings, to calculate the different loadings which will come onto the tower. So analyze code is IS 802 part 1 section 1 2015. And for member strength, another code is IS 802 part 1 section 2 revised in 2016. Okay, so these are the Indian standards we can use for design of transmission tower. And for transmission towers are normally supported by transmission latest towers. So the reliability of a transmission lines mainly depends on the reliability of a transmission tower design and its foundation. Its foundation is also critical things, and it will affect much more the cost of transmission line. Okay, so its foundation is also important. For transmission tower, we can use foundation of open cast foundation, rough foundation, pile foundation. We can use different type of foundation for different type of soils. Okay, so the towers support the conductor, earth wire, OPGW, and insulator strings. Also, it helps in maintaining the electrical clearances. That is the main thing. For a transmission line, electrical clearances are the main things. Okay, by using this transmission tower, we should maintain our electrical clearances. As your electrical engineer knows, there is important clearance between face to face, between R phase and Y phase, between Y phase and B phase. So by using this transmission tower, we should maintain these clearances: face to face horizontal clearances, face to face vertical clearances. If you studied in brief, there are different clearances given by Indian standard for different voltage. And another main thing is a corridor. So nowadays, due to high cost of right of way, okay, the emphasis is on transfer of large quantum of power through an optimum corridor. This has resulted into increase in the voltage levels of transmission lines and use of narrow base towers and poles. So narrow base tower generally nowadays very useful because as you know, right of way is a very difficult thing. If you are constructing your lines in a metropolitan city like Mumbai and Delhi, so it is very much costlier. Right of way is very much costlier. So nowadays emphasis is on to construct narrow base transmission tower, but it will give more spaces because his back is very narrow compared to broad base tower. So narrow base tower, it will definitely save your cost as right of way concern, but for steel material it will cost you compared to broad base tower. It has one advantage and one disadvantage also. So I think time is over now, and we discussed the things, very less things, but the things we can discuss for 1 hour. Okay, so transmission tower, it is a design a transmission tower is itself a very big subject, and it is not a job of to understand the design in just 1 hour or 2 hour. I think itself a very big subject, and it will take its own time to analyze. There are too many technical things we should know and we should keep in our mind while we will design the tower. But this is the basic overview about how we can design and how we can analyze the tower and how we can plot the towers in software. And I have seen PLS tower also, what we can which we can use to design the transmission tower. Okay.
Okay. So thank you very much, Vikram sir, for sharing
Okay.
your knowledge and showing the different design structure of the transmission towers. Thank you
Yes.
very much, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.